So this game was filled with a bunch of big explosive plays, and we get our first one about 30 seconds into the game here. It's second down and 1. Now, notice the safety at the top of the screen here. He's going to come forward because it could be a running play, right? Second down and 1. Carr sees this, and immediately he's going to begin communicating with his team. He's changing the play. He's probably calling an audible here. Safety recognizes this as well, and this is funny. He starts walking backwards, trying to disguise what he's doing, but it's already too late, right? Now again, the safety is going to be just looking in the backfield here, watching the running back in case it's a running play. Carr knows that if that's the case, he has Jared Cook one-on-one at the bottom of his screen. This could potentially be an explosive play. He watches the safeties all the way to the back of his drop to see where they're at. He confirms he has one-on-one coverage and throws it up for Cook. Now look at the location of that throw. I mean, look at that. Is absolutely perfect. Drops an absolute dime about 30 yards down the field, right in between the corner and the safety. That is outstanding. Looks like some pass interference to boot, but Cook still makes the catch. Let's go back to the start of the play here. Now, he doesn't even do a play action fake here, but the running back just takes a little bit of a step to the inside, and it's enough to get that safety to commit to what he's doing. Again, he's keeping his eyes on him because it's second down and 1. It's a potential running play. Carr waits until his back foot hits. He doesn't rush the throw, and he just floats it up there. Look, he just drops that dime in there. Outstanding. Okay, so this is the very next play here. On the previous play, Cook has burned the Steelers for 30 yards. So they're going to see where he's lined up. Here he is. He split out wide again. And you can see how much respect the safety at the top of the screen is giving Cook. In fact, he's going to run backwards on the play. They don't want to get burned for another long play, which could be a touchdown at this point on the field. Here's the defender that has a problem on the play, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I want you to take a look at the bottom of the screen because the Steelers are going to run a zone defense on this play, and we're going to talk about what that means. So this defender here is responsible for this part of the field, and this defender is responsible for this part of the field. They don't pick up a specific man. They just cover a zone on the field. So when the Raiders run routes like this and like this, what ends up happening is this defender picks up this player and this defender picks up this player. Now you may wonder, what happens if both players simply run deep? Well, first and foremost, each defender must carry his man all the way through his zone, and that helps out initially. But the second answer is that the Steelers have 2 deep safeties on this play, both split out wide, to help in just such a situation. Okay, now I want you to keep looking at the bottom of the screen here, because what we're going to look at is how each defender covers his man in his zone and then hands those receivers off as he runs into the next zone and picks up the next man that runs into his zone. That is perfect execution by the defense on that part of the field. But we're going to go back to the snap here because at the top of the field, the defense did not execute very well at all. Okay, now this defender is supposed to cover a zone that looks like this. And this defender is supposed to cover a zone that looks kind of like this. I drew it a little narrow, but you get the idea. So that when the Raiders run routes like this, you can see pretty easily who is supposed to be covering what player. Okay, now let's go ahead and run the film, and we're going to see what happens here. Wow, take a look at that. That's not right. Both defenders picked up Cook on the play, which I guess is somewhat understandable. The slot receiver is completely wide open, and Carr has him for a couple yards if he wants him. The defender realizes his mistake and runs over there to cover him, and Carr sees this. He also notices that the other defender has his back turned on the play. Now, Carr knows that Cook is going to continue running deep into the middle of the field like this, so he can just throw the ball up there. Now, one last note on this play. which is that when you do have two deep safeties in a zone like this, you are most vulnerable in the middle part of the field because you can see how far away they are from the play. The Raiders are about to have one of their best players come wide open right over the middle of the field against a two deep zone, and Carr and Cook execute on the play. Cook makes a nice catch here and takes the ball all the way down into the 16-yard line. He's just burned the Steelers for 49 yards on two consecutive plays. Now, when we go back to the snap here, we're going to see a couple of things. One is we're going to see just how quickly this happens. Second is we're going to see how helpless the defender is when he has his back turned. And Carr just throws a nice, easy pass for Cook to catch there, and it's a big gain for the Raiders. The Raiders would go on to score a touchdown, and then the Steelers would respond, making the score 7-7. Let's jump ahead to the second quarter here. The Raiders are in an I formation, and the Steelers are going to send a run blitz from the safety to help out with run defense. The Raiders do a double fake handoff, so all the linebackers, as well as every defensive lineman, will rush. Of course, this is going to leave the middle of the field wide open, so the Raiders send Dwayne Harris deep. He must be picked up by the safety here for the Steelers. Otherwise, they're going to get burned for a 73-yard touchdown. This leaves Jordy Nelson one-on-one at the bottom of the screen against the corner. Now, the corner knows this. He knows he doesn't have any safety help because of the blitz. So he gives Nelson a big cushion here. Nelson runs the route right into the middle of the field where there's nobody there, and it's a 13-yard gain for the Raiders. Okay, let's go back to the snap and talk about why this was such a nice throw for Derek Carr. He executes the fake handoffs, and then he takes a look and he sees that the safety has picked up Harris on the deep route. He immediately moves on to his next read and sees that the other safety has come forward on a run blitz, and he knows he has Jordy Nelson wide open in the middle of the field. Now he's got to float this ball right in between the safety and the corner. And look how close that was. That was a nice throw. Nice catch by Nelson, and 13-yard gain for the Raiders. Okay, now after this play, the Raiders just run a simple running play that goes for no gain. What's significant about this is immediately after, they go right into a no huddle with an empty backfield, and you can see the Steelers' defense is totally confused running around before the start of the play. At the bottom of the screen, Jared Cook is split out wide, and so the corner, Burnett, gives him a lot of space. He doesn't want to get beat deep on the play. You can see the safety is also looking over in that direction, so Cook just runs a few yards and turns around, and Carr hits him with a pass. Really, really nice execution from the Raiders here. Once again, when we go back to the snap, we just see how quickly this happens, and it ends up being a 12-yard gain for the Raiders. You know, Carr is on fire, Cook is having a great game, and the Raiders are feeling it right now. Okay, so this is a few plays later. It's 3rd and 7 now. The Steelers are getting a little tired of getting beat in the middle of the field, so here they make an adjustment to their defense. They still have two deep safeties on the play. This time, one of the safeties is going to cover the middle part of the field like this, while the other safety is going to rotate over to take away any deep routes that go down the middle. They are also not going to play a zone defense here. Instead, they are going to cover the receivers man-to-man. However, John Gruden is already a step ahead of them. He's going to send the two receivers up top deep like this. Cook is also going to run deep, and then after about 10 yards, cut sharply to the sideline underneath. He's one-on-one against Burnett again here, who doesn't seem to be any match for Cook in the open field. Carr puts the ball right on him, and it's another 12-yard gain for the Raiders. This was an excellent drive for the Raiders, which ended in a field goal. Later, Pittsburgh would score a touchdown to make the score 14-10. Let's jump ahead to the third quarter. Okay, so the Raiders are going with another empty backfield, and the Steelers have made another little adjustment to their defense here. They've got one safety up top like this. Now, they've also brought in a linebacker Williams into the middle of the field like this. If you're wondering where the other safety is, He's lined up across Jared Cook. They're going to put him on Cook. In addition, the Steelers are also going to be playing man-to-man against the other 4 receivers like this. Now, right away, we notice that the corner Hamilton is giving Seth Roberts a lot of space. Let's talk about why that is. If Hamilton plays press coverage on the play like this, and these 2 receivers run short, then Roberts could potentially run a corner route behind him away from the safety for a big gain. Hamilton's going to play it safe and give him a lot of space. I think that's the correct technique here. Now, the most natural side adjustment for Roberts is to run into the middle of the field like this, and Carr likely recognizes that pre-snap. It's a bit of a tricky throw because he has to fit the ball in between the linebacker and the corner on the play. Let's see how it all plays out. Now, I bet you can guess how many yards were gained on this play. Yeah, it was 12. That was a nice side adjustment there between Carr and Roberts. And the Raiders, remember, they're down by 4 in the third quarter now, so they're looking to get something going here. And they've brought the ball to midfield. Let's see what happens on the next play. Boom. Carr hits Cook for a 19-yard gain on the play. Let's go back to the snap and take a look at how this happened. Okay, right away we notice that they have a running back split out to Carr's left. Now, this is significant because even if he doesn't fake a handoff here, just the threat of the run can still impact the way a defense behaves. And in fact, if you look on the left side of your screen, you see Cook is sort of blocking his man as if it's a running play. We'll come back to that in a second, but first, I want you to take a look at the linebacker in the middle of the screen here. He's going to take a few steps to his left, which is unfortunate. Okay, now he's realized his mistake and he starts running to the other side. How does he know to do that? Well, if you take a look, he's looking at Carr, who has already started his throwing motion, and he knows the ball's going in that direction. I want you to take a look at the position Cook has gained on his man and how suddenly he is able to change directions here. Carr throws a laser over the middle of the field, and Cook makes a nice catch up high. Look at that. That's nice. And then he catches the ball and in stride and continues running and gains another 10 yards on the play. Very impressive. After a running play that goes for no gain, Gruden dials up a deep shot here. Now the Steelers get caught with their pants down a little bit. They send a 5-man blitz. In addition to that, the middle linebacker is also going to come on a delayed blitz, possibly after he sees the running back to stay in and help with pass protection. The outside linebacker will drop back into the zone to cover the middle of the field. Jared Cook up top and Jordy Nelson down at the bottom are going to run routes like this, while Derek Carrier is going to run deep. Now, right away, we see that Carr is looking over to his right, and the receiver has gotten a great jump off the line of scrimmage. Now, the safety sees that and immediately slides over to that side of the field. Carr has already reset his feet and moved on to his next read. Now he's looking over at Carrier. As soon as the safety sees Carr start his throwing motion, he changes directions. Carrier has beaten his man, and the safety is a little out of position, but the ball is going to have to travel a long way down the field. Carr is really going to have to thread the needle here. Let's take a look. I have to confess, that was definitely my favorite throw of the whole game. That was really nice. Let's take another look at that one. One other thing worth noting about this play is that the offensive line does a nice job handling the 6-man blitz and giving Carr enough time to make those reads, and just look at the location of that throw. You can't get any better than that. Outstanding. Now, the Raiders didn't get a score here because they turned the ball over. But when Pittsburgh started its drive, the Raider defense responded and got the ball right back. So let's jump ahead to the fourth quarter now. And the Steelers still lead by a score of 14-10. Okay, for this play, the Steelers would return to their zone defense. But notice there's a big difference. They only have one safety up top. They don't have the two deep safeties on each side of the field like they did before. Remember, they moved a safety closer to the line of scrimmage to cover the middle part of the field. To make matters worse is the safety up top moves over to Jared Cook's side of the field to keep an eye on him. Seventh round draft pick Marcel Aitman is going to run deep on the play away from the safety. Carr has good protection, sees him, and hits him for a 28-yard bomb. Big gain for the Raiders. When we take another look at the play from this angle, you get a really good view of how clean the pocket was for Derek Carr. Nice throw, big gain. I don't want to spend too much time on this next play. It's a really good example of a scramble drill and what to do during a scramble drill. Here you see both receivers run towards the quarterback, which is what you want to do in that situation. Ends up being an 8-yard gain to Nelson. Obviously, Nelson, a veteran, knows how to handle that situation. And when we take a look at the play from this angle, you're going to see how nicely Carr moves in the pocket here. He just kind of slides through, avoids the pressure, gets rid of the football. Look at that. Nicely done. 8 yards on the play. Okay, later on in the same drive, we're just under 6 minutes to go in the game, and the Raiders have gotten the ball all the way down to the 3-yard line. Now, we know about their fantastic tight end, Jared Cook. We know about Derek Carrier. But for this play, they bring in a third tight end, Lee Smith, to help block for a running play. There's just one little problem for the Steelers, which is this isn't a running play. It's a play-action pass. And what Smith does is dive into the line as if he's going to block for the run, and then just cut across the formation like this, and he ends up coming wide open on the play. Let's take a look. Yeah, look at that. That's awesome. Big moment for him. And, of course, most importantly, the Raiders take the lead, 17-14. The lead would be short-lived as the Steelers would come right back and score a touchdown of their own. Okay, Pittsburgh 21, Oakland 17. This is it, 2-minute drill. And we've talked about the fact that Carr has made some big-time throws in this game. Here he steps up in the pocket and hits another one. This is really good stuff. Wait till you see this from the other angle. That was Aitman on the reception, by the way. He's come up big in this fourth quarter. Now, I want you guys to look at the location of this throw here. Look at this. Oh, that's good stuff. Okay, they go no huddle here. They're going to try to get a playoff before the 2-minute warning. They get the snap off, and boom, he hits Jared Cook for another 14 yards. 2-minute warning here, and now we've reached the biggest play in the game. All right, with the game on the line, the Steelers have gone back to the zone defense with the 2 deep safeties. And we've talked a lot about the fact that they're using these safeties because they don't want to get beat deep. However, on this particular play, this safety makes a rather spectacular error. They've been playing the deep route correctly over and over again all game long, and one time they didn't, and it burned him. Seth Roberts is going to go deep on the play, and the safety is going to shade down and cover the outside route. He reacts to Roberts running by him, but it's too late. Carr sees this and hits Roberts for a huge gain of 39 yards all the way down to the 7-yard line. Carr had great protection on this play. He takes a quick look to the other side, and then boom, just that quickly gets rid of the ball. Monster gain. All right, 4th down and 6 with just 25 seconds to go. This is it. Do or die. Let's take a look and see what the Raiders do. Carr takes the snap, and you can see he's looking over at Derek Carrier the whole way. Here he is. Now Carrier is just going to sprint to the corner of the end zone here, and the defensive back will do the same. Except what actually happens is Carrier is just going to stop and turn around, and Carr hits him with an absolute dart, and then he just goes right into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. Carr just gives a little pump fake, Hits carrier, game winner with just 21 seconds left.